Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Jason here, and this is the first video of our beginner tips series. So this is going to be a video series for anyone who has never played the game, never played No Man's Sky before, or if you played it years ago and you're jumping back into the game because you're like, oh, the new update looks really, really cool. This is for you. This is a game, this is a video series that's going to kind of give you the TLDR of all the new stuff you need to know as a brand new player or a returning player with all the new updates. Now, keep in mind, this is going to be tip videos, meaning that this is going to be down and dirty, just I almost said just the tips. So if you want the detailed breakdown, if you want an actual full-on walkthrough, there is the 2025 Beginner's Guide. And that is me starting a fresh game and going all the way, well, not all the way through, but going through the beginning parts of the game. That way, all the way up to where you're basically in there, you know what you're doing, you're a pro at that point. That's kind of where the series kind of ends. Like, okay, you should know what you're doing at that point. This is just going to be tips. So, the first thing, if you're brand new, you load up the game, you're going to see this menu here. You can always go to your news and patch notes, join your friends in multiplayer. If you go to play, you'll notice, like, I have multiple saves in here. You can have up to 15 different saves. So as you keep adding more, you will just keep adding more and more to the list. At first, it'll only show you like 3 or 4, and then you can just keep adding more and more. So just remember, you can have multiple saves, and when you start a brand new game, I would always recommend for a brand new player, just play on normal mode. But you can jump into creative if you don't want to deal with any of the headache of resource management and all that kind of stuff. Go creative. You can do relax. You can do whatever you want. And because in 2025, technically in 2023, they added a custom game mode where you can change anything you want, and you can do this at any time you want. So if you start up a game and you're playing it and you feel like, oh, it's not that difficult, I want it to be a little bit more difficult, or it's too much, this needs to calm down, they need to relax on whatever, you can get in here and you can change any setting you like. So there's tons of stuff in here. So like if you don't like the survival elements, like having to deal with your life support and your hazards, you can just turn that thing off. Or if you only want to deal with health and that's it, go for it. You only want to do hazards and health. Okay. And then full is everything. So same thing for all of this stuff. You can just, hey, I don't want to deal with sprinting my stamina. I don't want to deal with stamina bars. You can just turn that to infinite if you want to. Or standard. And you can also just, up here at the top, you can just do every slider here, and it'll give you what the settings are for each setting, for each difficulty setting. So if you want to go permadeath, you can do all this. And so, by default, your items are destroyed. Or your save is destroyed. Or you could just say, hey, I don't want it to be like that. I want all these settings to be on permadeath, except for I don't want the save to be deleted. Anyway, you can do all this right now. You could do it all later on. I would highly recommend go to normal mode. Just go into normal mode and play the game, because this is like the default setting. Jump in here, and then as you're playing and you're getting used to the game, you can adjust things like, actually, you know what? The sprint stamina is just irritating. I don't want to deal with that. Turn that thing off. Or if you're like, hey, look, it's not really that hard. I want more damage from the enemies. You can bump that up too. So let's initialize. So every time you start a brand new game, it will be on a random planet. And the big thing, the huge idea behind No Man's Sky is that there are billions and billions and billions of planets. So even today, the game is 9 years old. As of 2025, it's 9 years old. And there are still planets out there that no one has ever seen, no one has ever stepped foot on. Like, there are planets you probably will. I would say there's a 90% chance you're going to land on a planet that no one has ever been to, no one has ever seen before, and it will be discovered by you. And so because of that, there's a whole bunch in here to see and discover and scan and do all that kind of stuff. So definitely jump in and kind of get your footing, go around and look around for stuff. But I would highly recommend, once you start, you're on a hazardous planet. Like, I'm on a poisonous planet, it looks like. So this is first contact. No one's ever been here before. This is a planet discovered by me. But I'm on a toxic world. And so you might run into a hot world or a cold or a radiation, whatever. you're going to run into a random world that has a hazard on it. And at first, it's going to tell you, hey, look, you need to upgrade or fix your scanner. That's okay. We don't need to do that. What you want to look for is a cave. So if you can look around a little bit, we don't see any cave entrances here. So sometimes you get very lucky, and they'll give you a cave to start with, and that's awesome. But if not, like me, I didn't get lucky. I don't have a cave around me. That's fine. We're going to try to mine up all of our materials to begin with so we can start upgrading and rebuilding and fixing all of our suit. Because if you press your pause or your select menu, whatever you want to call it, you'll go into your inventory and it'll tell you, hey, look, your multi-tool, this is your tool to mine stuff. It is broken. We're going to need to fix that. But you can also tab through at the top here. You can see my starship. It is too far away. We have to go find it, but it has an inventory and it has broken stuff in there too. And then my exosuit. So this is my suit setup in 2025. And so you have your technology area at the top, and then your cargo, your backpack essentially, is down at the bottom. Now, keep in mind, your technology is going to be really, really important on where you place items. So every technology has upgrades that you can apply to it. So you see this green one right here, that's our hazard protection. We can apply upgrades, technology upgrades to our hazard protection to make it stronger. However, you want those to be next to each other. Right now, it's kind of clustered over in the top left. So if you hold down X or square if you're on PlayStation, you can pick it up and you can move it anywhere you want. Now, you can't move it down here in your cargo. You need to put it in your technology area, not in your backpack, essentially. So move that around a little bit. I like to move mine over there. I need to move my jetpack. That way there's room around it because you want your upgrades to your technology to be touching your technology. So your jetpack, you want your jetpack upgrades to be right next to your jetpack. You want your life support to be right next to your life support. And we'll explain all that later on in the series. But as of right now, when you're first starting out, just move that around and then start collecting stuff. Let's collect that sodium right here. But you can use your multi-tool, your little tool, to mine up all the kinds of stuff, just like in any other survival crafting game. You don't have to make like any separate weapons. It'll just go after everything. So we can destroy all this and we'll collect the resources. Like that's condensed carbon. We're going to destroy that rock. Oh, we're going to need upgrades to destroy that rock particularly. But there should be some other stuff like here's this plant right here. We can destroy that. So start just destroying as much as you can to collect all these resources, because later on you're going to get money and you're going to be able to buy it from different vendors. But as of right now, we have $0. And all this does is take time. So this is absolutely free. Absolutely want to do that. So you'll notice that I'm getting carbon from plants. If you destroy rocks, you'll get ferrite dust, which is basically like your minerals, your rocks. So we're going to look for that as well. But since we collected a whole bunch of carbon, let's go back into our inventory. And then we're going to go to our build menu by pressing A if you're on Xbox or X if you're on PlayStation. It'll bring up your crafting menu, and these are all the things we know right now. This list is going to grow like by a lot. So right now we know the basic stuff, but eventually this list is going to be massive on everything we can build as we learn the different blueprints for everything. But what we want to do is we want to make a carbon nanotube. It's going to take us 50 carbon to do that. We destroyed plants. We got some carbon. Let's do that. Now we have one of those. If we flip over to our multi-tool bar and I go up here and I tap it. You could also hit your left and right bumper to kind of switch pages. So I go over here, and you don't need it there, but also if you press A in your multi-tool, your tool, it will actually let you build things. So we can build a force field for our player. We can also build a bolt caster, which is a weapon, or an analysis visor. So you want to build the analysis visor really quickly. This will help you out early in the game. Another big tip for early players or brand new players, build your visor first. All you need is carbon, and we made a carbon nanotube, and it says required parts, 1 carbon nanotube. Let's put it in there. So right now it's installed, but it's not finished. So if I back out, you'll see it has a little, it's glowing blue, and it has a gear icon. That means it's not finished. If it's red and it has an exclamation point, that means it's broken. So we have the 3 items right here. We have a normal item right here. The mining beam is working, it's perfectly fine. We have a broken scanner, and then we have a not totally fixed analysis visor. So let's fix it. We're going to install that by using our carbon nanotube. Boom. There you go. So now it's fixed. So now that we have a visor, what we could do is if you press left trigger, you actually pull up your visor and you can look at stuff. And this is very valuable. So this is the fastest, easiest way to make money when you first start out. Later on, we're going to make farms. We're going to be selling items to make money. But at first, you have nothing. And so what you want to do is scan everything you possibly can. So if I want to scan this animal, hold down left trigger and then hold down right trigger. Boom. I just scanned that animal and they paid me 1,600 in-game money. 1,600 bucks in the game. So now we're good. So look at that. When we scan that animal, and the cooler part is anything you scan. So that animal I just scanned, you go into your pause menu. This is your pause menu right here. This will give you your log, which is basically like all your missions lined up. Then we have our catalog and guide. This is all the information you've learned in the game. So you can actually go through and pick like all the different milestones you've done. So there's a lot of information here on the game and how you've progressed in the game. But we want to go over to the Discovery tab. So it's going to show you the planet we're on. It was found by me today because we just landed on it. So Jason Plays found that today, Noxus. It'll tell you all the information about the planet. But down here, we have 3 different tabs. We have our plant tab. We have our fauna, which is our animal tab. And then our minerals, our rock tab. We scan 1 animal, so there we go. And it'll give you a list of all the animals here. We haven't found any of them, but we can kind of look and say, oh, we have another animal we have not found yet. It's a common, so it's everywhere. It's on the ground and mostly diurnal, which means it comes out mostly during the day. Then we have the one right below it. It's rare, so it's not all over the place. It's on the ground, and it's always active, so it's out at day and night. And you can kind of go through the list here, like uncommon, so it's around sometimes. And this one is a flying animal, and it's diurnal, which means during the day. Diurnal is day, nocturnal is nighttime. So that's how you can kind of get an idea of, oh, this is where the animals are going to be, because if you can complete your animal registry for each planet, they will give you a bonus. So that's why you want to scan all the animals. I've scanned 1 out of 8 right now. So we can do that, and we can upload this one. So I can just rename this guy. Like, we can rename it. He looks pretty good, so we'll say Gremlin 1. There we go. So we have Gremlin 1 right there. And don't worry about it. In 2025, in the most recent updates for No Man's Sky, they've allowed you to rename this. So if I'm like, actually, you know what? I found it. It goes to me, so I will be the one who found this forever. If you come back in here like a year from now, it'll say Jason Plays found this 1 year ago. It'll actually give you the date, like when I found it. But you can go back anytime and say, actually, you know what? I don't like Gremlin 1. What about if we do it a Grimace 1? There we go. And there you go. And you can just do that. There's no limitation other than you need to be connected to the online services. So down at the bottom left, this is the No Man's Sky servers. As long as you're connected to the servers, you can name it. I mean, you know, don't name it anything gross or anything like that. There are word filters, of course, so keep that in mind. They're not going to just let you name it anything. But yeah, you can scan that. The reason why you want to build the visor is this reason right here. Unidentified plant. And right underneath it, it says carbon. So if I destroy it, I'll get carbon. However, there's a second material. Analyze, and it has question marks around it. That means if I scan this plant, I will get a second material. So let's scan it. We know we're going to get carbon, and now we know that it also gives me oxygen. You will not get that oxygen unless you scan it. So you want to use that visor. Install that visor very quickly because there's some amazing materials that you won't get because they're secondary materials. You definitely want to do that. We're going to get a whole bunch of oxygen. So we're getting oxygen and we're getting carbon. And it's not just for plants, it's for rocks as well. So you can see right there, there's a ton of different items. Not every item, not every rock, not every plant will have 2, but a lot of them will. And sometimes, again, sometimes you scan it. I only got 200 bucks out of that, but I'm getting oxygen and ferrite dust. So it's a really good, fast way to get a lot of resources because you're scanning stuff. Now, that one doesn't have anything. Look at that. It's just regular ferrite dust. Now, I can still scan it, and I'll get $200. Minerals are generally the cheapest, so they'll give you the least amount of money. They'll still give you money, but it's not going to be very much. So you can, you know, if you don't want to, you don't have to scan everything, but it's always in your best interest to scan as much as you possibly can. So that's what you should do. Just do all this stuff. We should fix our visor, or our scanner, excuse me, our scanner. So let's get some rocks going. We need to get some ferrite dust. And then we're going to move to our ship. And so then we'll get to the ship and we'll do all that kind of stuff. In the next episode, I'm going to go through some tips that you're going to need for finding, you know, your terrain manipulator and things like that. So we are definitely going to be going through. Again, if you guys want the detailed breakdown, I will link the beginner series down in the first comment and the description down below. I will link it down there if you want the really deep details. This is, again, only going to be the top layer tips for beginners. If you're just starting out in a new update, like you're excited, you want to jump in, that's what we're going to, you know, that's what this series is for. If you want the extreme details, definitely check out the Beginner 2025 series. That will go through the entire beginning of the game for you guys. So, hopefully you guys liked the video. If you did, hit that like button, and I will see you in the next one when we try to get some good stuff with the terrain manipulator. So, see you guys then. Oh, sorry, little guy. Get out of here. Go, run, run.